Mariana's Choice: The Street Girl and the Lawyer's Wallet. Mariana is a 9-year-old girl living on the streets of a big city. She lost her parents in a tragic accident when she was very young and has since survived alone, finding shelter in alleys and feeding on whatever she can find. Despite her hardships, Mariana maintains a touching innocence, believing that one day her life might improve. One sunny morning, while wandering the busy streets looking for something to eat, Mariana spots something unusual. In the middle of a crowded sidewalk, an elegant and seemingly expensive wallet lies on the ground. She hesitates for a moment but decides to pick it up. When she opens the wallet, her eyes widen at the sight of a considerable amount of money. Mariana has never seen so much money at once. Next to the cash, she finds a business card, Dr. Eduardo Almeida, lawyer. Mariana knows that with that money, she could change her life, buy food, new clothes, maybe even rent a room to sleep in at night. But something inside her prevents her from simply keeping the wallet. She remembers the stories her mother used to tell her about honesty and integrity, and an internal battle begins in her heart. As she holds the wallet, Mariana sees a group of children playing in a nearby square. She approaches, but instead of joining them, she sits on a nearby bench, watching. The children's laughter makes her think about what her mother would have wanted. "Return the wallet," Mariana whispers to herself, feeling a tear roll down her face. With her decision made, she heads back to the main street and starts looking for the lawyer's address. Dr. Eduardo Almeida is a renowned lawyer known for his strictness and focus on work. He is on his way to an important meeting when he realizes he has lost his wallet. Desperate, he begins to think about the impact the loss might have on his life and career. As he tries to retrace his steps, he receives an unexpected call from his office, informing him that a girl named Mariana found his wallet and is trying to return it. Surprised and skeptical, Dr. Eduardo arranges to meet Mariana at his office. Upon arrival, he sees a small, thin girl with dirty clothes and a determined look. He can't believe that a street child had the courage to return a wallet full of money. Mariana hands him the wallet with a shy smile, but the lawyer's keen eyes see something deeper in the girl, a purity and goodness that he rarely encounters in his life of luxury and power. Impressed by Mariana's honesty, Dr. Eduardo decides to reward her. He offers her a sum of money, but Mariana refuses, saying she only did what her mother would have wanted. Surprised, Eduardo asks about her life, and Mariana shares her sad and lonely story. Touched, the lawyer makes a decision that will change not only Mariana's life but also his own. Dr. Eduardo decides to adopt Mariana, offering her a new life away from the streets. He not only takes her into his home but also commits to giving her an education and all the opportunities she never had. For Mariana, this is the fulfillment of a dream, a new chance to have a family and a future. As time passes, Mariana adjusts to her new life. She starts attending school, makes new friends, and develops a deep bond with Dr. Eduardo. Mariana's story and her honesty become an inspiring example in the city, showing that even in the toughest times, it is possible to do the right thing. Dr. Eduardo, in turn, rediscovers the importance of the small things in life, learning from Mariana about generosity, kindness, and true happiness. The relationship between the two strengthens, and Mariana, who was once a lonely street girl, now has a loving family and a bright future ahead. Mariana begins attending the private school where Dr. Eduardo enrolled her. She feels a bit intimidated at first, as everything is new and different. The other children come from wealthy families and have lives completely different from hers. Despite some initial difficulties, such as adjusting to the pace of classes and dealing with a few children who look at her with prejudice, Mariana strives to make the most of this new opportunity. Eduardo, realizing how difficult this transition can be, decides to hire a private tutor to help her catch up on her studies. The tutor, Mrs. Helena, is a kind and patient lady who quickly becomes a maternal figure to Mariana. Over time, Mariana begins to excel in school, especially in writing classes, where she can express her feelings and share her experiences. Despite the support from Eduardo and Mrs. Helena, Mariana faces emotional challenges. She misses her parents, and although she is happy to have a new life, she still carries the pain of loss. One rainy afternoon, while writing in her diary, Mariana pours out her feelings of longing, describing how much she wishes her parents could see how her life has changed. Eduardo, finding Mariana crying in her room, comforts her and shares his own story of loss. He lost his wife several years ago and has since focused solely on work. This conversation deepens the bond between the two, with Mariana beginning to see Eduardo not just as the man who adopted her, but as someone who truly cares about her. As Mariana adjusts to her new life, a mysterious man appears at Eduardo's office. He is Paulo, an old friend of Eduardo who had been missing for many years. Paulo has a troubled past and tries to reconnect with Eduardo, but the lawyer is suspicious of his intentions. Mariana, on the other hand, feels a strange attraction to Paulo, as if he is somehow connected to her past. The relationship between Eduardo and Paulo begins to create tensions, especially when Paulo starts showing interest in Mariana. He reveals that he knows more about Mariana's past than she herself realizes. Eduardo, fearing that Paulo has ulterior motives, decides to keep Mariana away from him, but the girl's curiosity drives her to investigate. Determined to discover the truth about her connection to Paulo, Mariana starts asking questions. She finds clues that lead to a shocking revelation. Paulo was a friend of Mariana's parents and was present the night of the accident that killed them. The truth is that the accident was not really an accident, but the result of a fight between Paulo and another man. This discovery shakes Mariana deeply. She begins to question everything about her life, feeling betrayed by someone she had started to trust. Eduardo tries to protect her from the painful truths, but he knows she needs to know the truth to find peace. With the truth in her hands, Mariana faces a dilemma: confront Paulo and demand answers, or leave the past behind and move forward with her new life. She decides to confront Paulo, who initially denies any involvement in the accident. However, pressured by the girl's determination, he ends up confessing his role. Paulo explains that the accident was a terrible mistake and that he has carried this guilt for years. He wanted to get close to Mariana to try to redeem himself, but he ended up complicating the situation even more. Mariana, torn between anger and compassion, decides not to report him but makes it clear that he is no longer part of her life. After the confrontation with Paulo, Mariana decides to focus on her future. She realizes that despite the tragedies, she now has the chance to build a life her parents would be proud of. Eduardo, noticing Mariana's talent for writing, begins to encourage her to explore this skill further. Inspired by her own story, Mariana begins writing a book about her life. She sees this as a way to deal with her past and share her experience with others who might be going through difficult times. Eduardo, proud, supports Mariana every step of the way, helping her find a publisher interested in publishing her book. Mariana's book is published and quickly becomes a success. Her story of overcoming touches many people, and she begins to receive invitations for interviews and events. However, with success come new insecurities. Mariana fears that people are only interested in her story because of the drama, not because of who she truly is. Eduardo helps her navigate this new phase of her life, teaching her to focus on what really matters: her truth and the people she can help with her story. Mariana starts to realize that despite the challenges, she has the power to inspire and transform lives. With the success of the book, Mariana begins to meet new people. She befriends Clara, a young journalist who is interested in her story and wants to help Mariana tell more about her life. Clara becomes a great friend and confidant, helping Mariana navigate the world of fame and keep her grounded. In addition to Clara, Mariana also meets a young man named Lucas, a talented musician who becomes a close friend and romantic interest. Lucas, who also had a difficult childhood, understands Mariana's struggles, and the two begin to support each other, creating a special bond. Mariana's friendship with Clara and Lucas is put to the test when rumors begin to surface in the media about Mariana's past and her connection with Paulo. Clara, as a journalist, finds herself torn between protecting her friend and doing her job. Lucas, on the other hand, becomes furious with how the media treats Mariana. Mariana, once again facing the shadows of her past, needs to decide who to trust and how to handle the pressure. She feels betrayed by Clara but also understands her friend's difficult position. In the end, she decides to face the rumors head-on, telling her side of the story in an exclusive interview. With the rumors finally cleared up, Mariana begins to focus on her own emotional healing. She decides that it's time to close the chapter on her past with Paulo once and for all. In a visit to her parents' grave, she makes peace with the past, forgiving Paulo and herself for all the guilt and hurt she had been carrying. This journey of healing transforms her, allowing Mariana to completely free herself from the weight she had been carrying. She grows even closer to Eduardo, Clara, and Lucas, building stronger and healthier bonds. Mariana starts planning her future, full of hope and determination. Mariana decides to return to the streets where she grew up, but this time not as a lost girl, but as a young woman who has overcome adversity. She returns to help other street children, creating a non-profit organization with the support of Eduardo, Clara, and Lucas. The organization provides shelter, education, and emotional support for children who are in the same situation Mariana was years ago. This new mission gives Mariana an even greater purpose, filling her life with meaning and joy. Her story becomes an example of how it's possible to turn pain into something positive and make a difference in the world. However, not everything is perfect. Paulo, repentant and directionless, seeks out Mariana again. He wants to redeem himself and help in the organization, but Eduardo, now protective of Mariana, is suspicious of Paulo's intentions. A final confrontation between the two men reveals secrets that Paulo had kept, which could change Mariana's life forever. Mariana is faced with a difficult decision of completely forgiving Paulo or keeping him out of her life forever. In the end, she decides to give Paulo one last chance, allowing him to help in the organization under strict supervision. This decision, although risky, shows how much Mariana has grown and is willing to give others a chance at redemption. With Paulo now part of the organization, Mariana and Eduardo dedicate themselves to expanding its reach. They begin to open new centers in other cities, helping thousands of children get off the streets. The relationship between Mariana and Eduardo grows even stronger, with Eduardo officially taking on the role of adoptive father. Lucas and Clara continue by Mariana's side, and the four of them form an unbeatable team, transforming lives and creating a lasting impact on society. Mariana finally finds inner peace, knowing that despite everything, she has managed to turn her suffering into something grand. The relationship between Mariana and Lucas begins to blossom naturally and deeply. They both share a story of overcoming and find in each other the emotional support they have always sought. Lucas, who also had a difficult childhood and a life full of challenges, understands Mariana in a way that no one else can. They start spending more time together, sharing dreams, fears, and plans for the future. Eduardo, noticing the growing closeness between the two, feels a slight concern as a protective father, but is happy to see that Mariana has found someone who makes her so happy. Clara, for her part, supports the relationship but reminds Mariana of the importance of staying focused on her goals and not getting carried away solely by romance. Mariana and Lucas decide to work together on expanding the organization. Lucas, with his musical talent, organizes benefit events to raise funds and raise awareness about the situation of street children. These events not only help the organization grow but also allow their love to flourish even more. With the growth of the organization, new challenges arise. The financial pressure increases, and the demand for more resources and volunteers is constant. Mariana and Eduardo find themselves in endless meetings with investors and partners, trying to ensure the organization continues to operate without compromising its mission. Lucas, on the other hand, begins to face challenges in his music career. With the time he dedicates to the organization and to Mariana, he has less time to focus on his music, which begins to affect his career. He finds himself torn between pursuing his dream of becoming a successful musician and continuing to support Mariana and the organization. This tension begins to affect their relationship. Mariana, noticing Lucas's internal struggle, tries to support him but also doesn't want him to give up on his own dreams because of her. They have difficult conversations about the future, and for the first time, their relationship is put to the test. The tensions between Mariana and Lucas reach a peak when Lucas receives a great opportunity to record an album in a distant city. He feels torn between chasing his dream and staying to help Mariana and the organization. The decision weighs heavily on him, and the distance begins to create a rift between the two. Eduardo, who has been closely observing the situation, decides to talk to Lucas. In a moment of paternal wisdom, Eduardo reminds Lucas that true love is one that supports mutual growth and that sometimes distance can strengthen a relationship. He encourages Lucas to follow his dream, assuring him that Mariana will understand as long as there is honesty and communication. Lucas, after a deep conversation with Mariana, decides to accept the offer to record the album. He promises Mariana that even from a distance, he will continue to support her and the organization. Although the decision is difficult for both of them, they realize that this step is necessary for their individual growth and the relationship. With Lucas recording his album in another city, Mariana throws herself into the expansion of the organization. She begins traveling to other regions, establishing new centers, and creating partnerships with other organizations. During this period, Mariana discovers new passions, such as advocating for children's rights in national and international forums. Meanwhile, Lucas is also discovering himself as an artist. The distance between them causes both to grow as individuals, and phone conversations and video calls become the foundation of their relationship. They share their achievements and challenges, and the longing only makes their love grow. On one of these trips, Mariana meets Julia, a girl who reminds her a lot of herself when she was on the streets. Determined to help Julia, Mariana starts spending more time with her, and the relationship they develop brings up new emotions and reflections on what it means to be a mentor and protector. After months of recording and promoting his album, Lucas finally returns home. His album is a success, and he becomes a rising star in the music scene. But despite the fame, all he wants is to return to Mariana and continue his work with the organization. When he returns, they realize that despite the distance, their love is stronger than ever. Lucas proposes to Mariana that they integrate their passions more closely. He suggests using his music to draw even more attention to the cause of street children, organizing a benefit tour with all profits going to the organization. Mariana, touched by Lucas's dedication to the cause, agrees, and the two begin planning together the next phase of their lives and the organization. As they plan the benefit tour, Mariana and Lucas start thinking about the future in more personal terms. They talk about the desire to build a family together. However, for Mariana, this desire brings up painful memories of her childhood and the responsibility she feels towards the children they help through the organization. Eduardo, noticing this new phase in Mariana's life, decides to have an honest conversation with her. He reminds her that she deserves to have her own family and that this doesn't mean she will be abandoning her mission with the organization. On the contrary, having a family can give her even more strength to continue helping other children. With Eduardo's support and the certainty of Lucas's love, Mariana begins to embrace the idea of having her own family. They decide that after the benefit tour, they will start planning this new chapter of their lives, bringing more love and hope to their already blessed lives. With the benefit tour in full swing, Mariana and Lucas find themselves at a point in their lives where everything seems to be falling into place. The organization is stronger than ever, with new centers being opened in other cities and countries. Mariana becomes an important voice in activism for children's rights, and her story continues to inspire thousands of people around the world. However, Mariana knows that there is still much work to be done. She continues to dedicate herself tirelessly to the cause, but now with a different perspective. She understands that to help others, she also needs to take care of herself and her new family. With Lucas by her side, she is ready to face any challenge that comes their way, knowing that love and perseverance will always prevail. And so, Mariana's story, which began in such a difficult and challenging way, now becomes a beacon of hope for many people. She proves that no matter where you start, your destiny can be shaped by choices made with the heart. After the success of the benefit tour, Mariana and Lucas decide to expand the organization and give it a name that symbolizes their life's mission, the Santini Foundation, in honor of Lucas's last name and the fighting spirit they both share. The Santini Foundation becomes a symbol of hope for vulnerable children in various parts of the world. With the expansion of the foundation, Mariana and Lucas become even more involved in social and humanitarian causes. They travel to developing countries, helping to create educational programs, provide shelter, and improve the health of thousands of children. During these trips, Mariana meets children who remind her of her own journey, which only strengthens her determination to continue fighting for a better future for them. Eduardo, now closer than ever to Mariana, also becomes involved, using his experience as a lawyer to fight for the rights of these children in international courts. He becomes a crucial figure in the foundation, helping to legalize and formalize the organization's actions in different countries. As the Santini Foundation grows and becomes global, Mariana and Lucas face a difficult decision: continue dedicating all their time and energy to the cause or start focusing more on their personal lives, especially on building a family. They find themselves torn between their responsibilities to the foundation and the desire to have children and build a life together. Mariana, always selfless, fears that by focusing on her personal life, she is neglecting the children who still need help. Lucas, on the other hand, believes it is possible to find a balance and that by taking care of themselves, they will be even better prepared to help others. This decision weighs heavily on them, and both begin to feel the pressure of the choice. However, after many conversations and reflections, they realize that the true strength of the foundation lies in the network of dedicated people they have built over the years. Mariana and Lucas decide to delegate more responsibilities to the regional leaders of the foundation, allowing them to have more time for themselves. With the decision made, Mariana and Lucas begin to plan their personal lives with more focus. They buy a house in the countryside, away from the hustle and bustle of the city, where they plan to start a family. The place is a haven of peace, surrounded by nature, where they can relax and reconnect with what really matters. On a quiet day at their new home, Mariana discovers that she is pregnant. The news brings a mix of joy and fear. She remembers the difficulties she faced in her childhood and fears not being a good mother. However, with the support of Lucas and Eduardo, she begins to accept the idea that being a mother is just another way to love and protect. Mariana and Lucas start preparing the house for the baby's arrival, and their happiness is palpable. Eduardo, moved, prepares to become a grandfather, something he never thought would happen in his life. He becomes even more protective of Mariana, accompanying her to all the appointments and helping with every detail. As the pregnancy progresses, Mariana begins to reflect on the legacy she will leave for the world and, especially, for her child. She writes a letter to the baby, telling her story, from the street girl who found a wallet to the woman who built a life of love and service to others. This letter becomes a symbol of everything Mariana believes in: the importance of honesty, kindness, and fighting for the rights of the most vulnerable. She keeps the letter in a special chest, along with other mementos from her journey, like the first copy of her book and the wallet she found when she was 9 years old. The letter also becomes a sort of manifesto for the Santini Foundation. Mariana shares it with the organization's team, inspiring everyone to continue the work with the same spirit of love and dedication that she has always had. The day of the birth arrives, and Mariana is taken to the hospital with Lucas and Eduardo by her side. The wait is long and full of emotions, but finally, the cry of a baby fills the room, bringing tears of joy to everyone. Mariana gives birth to a healthy baby girl, whom they decide to name Helena, in honor of Mrs. Helena, the tutor who helped her so much at the beginning of her new life. Helena's arrival transforms everyone's lives. Mariana, Lucas, and Eduardo find a new sense of purpose and love. Helena becomes the center of their lives, and Mariana promises herself that she will give her daughter everything she didn't have in her childhood, a life full of love, security, and opportunities. Years pass, and Mariana and Lucas continue to dedicate themselves to the Santini Foundation, now with Helena by their side. The girl grows up in an environment of love and dedication, surrounded by stories of overcoming and kindness. She becomes a curious and compassionate child, always wanting to help others, just like her parents. One sunny afternoon, while walking in the garden, Mariana sits with Helena on her lap and reads her the letter she wrote before her birth. The words move Helena, who asks her mother if she, too, can help children like the ones the foundation helps. Mariana, with tears in her eyes, hugs her daughter and tells her that she is already helping, just by being who she is. The scene is the perfect closure of a cycle of love, redemption, and legacy. Mariana's life, which began in such a difficult and challenging way, is now a beacon of hope for many people. The emotional ending shows that despite all the difficulties, love, honesty, and kindness always prevail. Mariana, Lucas, Helena, and Eduardo form a united family that will continue to inspire and transform lives, showing that every choice made with the heart can change the world. As you reach the end of Mariana's inspiring journey, remember that her story is a powerful reminder that every act of kindness, no matter how small, can create a ripple effect that changes lives. If Mariana's story touched your heart, don't let it end here. Share it with others who might need a spark of hope, and consider how you, too, can make a difference in the world around you. Join us in continuing Mariana's mission by supporting the causes that matter to you. Whether it's through volunteering, donating, or simply spreading awareness, every effort counts. Let's come together to build a brighter future, one choice at a time. If you're inspired to learn more or get involved, visit your organization's website or link to discover how you can help. Together, we can turn stories of struggle into stories of triumph.